Hello, friends from Messi and Co. Welcome to our live post-game show. Inter Miami getting 3 points at LAFC, 2 assists by Lionel Messi, a great goal by Facu Farias, and we're going to be discussing it here. We're live right now on the Five Reasons YouTube channel. You'll find this also later on the different types of podcast platforms that you guys like to enjoy this type of content. So, a very important Inter Miami win. We're going to be going over it. What was the main takeaway out of this victory in LA? And also, what's the situation on the table in the Eastern Conference after these three very important points for Inter Miami? But before we go ahead and do that, we want to welcome you and invite you to send your comments tonight. We're going to be reading a lot of them and commenting what you guys saw about this game. But before that, we're going to give this space to our first sponsor in Messi and Co., our friends from mosaics.com.
Are you ready to transform your space into a masterpiece? Introducing Mosaics, your destination for stones and more. Mosaics is a family-owned business serving the community for over 20 years. With the best quality porcelain, ceramic tiles, and high-end mosaics featuring unique modern designs, Mosaics has everything you need. Dedicated customer service, wholesale distributors, and a passion for excellence. Make sure you visit mosaics.com today to turn your vision into a reality.
All right, here we go. Thank you very much to all of you that are joining our live post-game show here. Inter Miami getting this very important win after tying 0-0 at home against Nashville. Well, this time they get three very important points, and we're going to talk about it. Why is it so important? Well, because Inter Miami is going to miss some of our most important players who are going to play with their national teams, especially Lionel Messi. And this is Messi and Co. So we're going to be missing him, but of course we're going to be keep going and following the team as they take on the Kansas City team on Saturday. Sporting KC on Saturday here at Dry Pink Stadium. We're going to go over that a little bit later. So thank you to all of you that are joining our post-game show right now. Remember, send your comments in. We're going to be reading them in a little bit. So before that, we're going to go and go ahead and talk about what was Tata Martino's idea today. He went again with a five on the back: Yetlin, Aviles, Christoph, Miller, and Alba. Then three in the middle: Gomez, Busquets, and Kremaski. And the big surprise, I think, of the day, which was Facu Farias starting along with Lionel Messi. No Leo Campana, no Joseph Martinez. And the discussion that we had in the last episode, should it be Joseph? Should it be Leo Campana? Well, he was Facu Farias, and he was very important because he scored that first goal that led this team to win this game. Let's be honest, it was a 3-1. It could have been even worse, but the reality is, if you watch this game, the reality is LAFC should have scored 3 or 4 goals, and they didn't. They just couldn't. They were not effective. That's the reality of it, and that's how it is. This is soccer, and you have to score your goals. LAFC ended up with 22 shots, only 6 of them on target. Miami only shot 9, 6 of them on target, and they scored 3 goals. So this is about being effective, and Inter Miami was, and that was very important. Let's welcome Ashley. Ashley, how are you? Welcome to our live post-game show. Very
What's
important
up?
win. Yeah. How are you? How are you feeling?
Um, Surprised, pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
I don't ever doubt the ability of Messi, Busquets, Alba, but wow, was this a joint effort? And was this a great, I mean, sometimes like you were saying just now, sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. LAFC did not capitalize on their opportunities. There were a couple selfish moments in the first half by their front three.
Yeah.
Which, when you have your goal scorer, you kind of want them to be selfish for the most part. But when it's a 2-on-1 like that, you can't lose those chances. And just Drake Callender, as Phil Neville said best in his tweet in the beginning of the game, Drake Callender right now is the best goalie in the United States in MLS. I would even go as far to say probably in all of North America. So it's amazing to watch him work and to watch this team just keep developing. And yeah, wow, what a result. What
Yeah,
a result.
a great result. Especially, I was talking about after we tied, no goals in the last game, and everybody was going crazy about it. And I said, it's a marathon. You have to, I know it's hard, but you have to keep going, keep going, keep going. It's a long run, and Inter Miami, it's on its way to maybe make it a run in getting into the playoffs. You were talking about their front three. Boanga, he missed one. Well, one was a great save by Calendar, but the other ones they just missed the goal. And
Yeah.
that first play that you were talking about, he had Carlos Vela going by himself towards his right, and he just didn't pass the ball. I mean, it was a very similar situation to what Messi had in the third Inter Miami goal when he had Campana
Campana,
to
yeah.
his right and he just put it there. Campana finished it, and that was a 0-3 game over. Well, and that's how it is. That's what makes the difference between regular players and superstars. They
And
make the right
age,
decision.
maturity,
Yeah,
all of those things. I mean, Carlos Vela was beside himself, and you don't see him
yeah,
get that angry very often. I think it put a fracture in the team in the very beginning. Like, I think that set the tone really negatively for LAFC. As soon as we got that counter goal with that beautiful piece of innovation by Facundo Farias, I don't know how the hell that goal went in, but I was, really happy to see it. Yeah, no, I mean, it was a great showing. Let's talk about the Inter Miami formation a little bit, right? Because I know you weren't on
yeah.
our last episode, but
Mhm.
Gian,
Hey, what's up, guys?
perfect timing. I was just about to say to Alejandro, let's talk about the formation and the starting 11 for Inter Miami, because on our last episode, we both said, gosh, we'd like to see Gomez and Kramaschke start at the same time, but we
Yeah.
just don't know what it would look like. And Tata Martino said, here, I'll show you. And it turned out to be, obviously LAFC missed some of those golden opportunities like we talked about, but overall it was, the game plan worked, right? Like Messi and Facundo being able to start up front and have that space and freedom to cook. it definitely worked out. And I think Kramaschke and Gomez both played beautifully, calm, and they were incredibly smart in when they went forward and when they went back. And it was a great showing.
I think it was awesome to see both. Like you said, I was like, did Tata watch our podcast? Like, what in the world?
He
But
does. He does.
he does. Yeah, but that was really great to see them both, because obviously they had been subbing in for one another, and I think that they played so well together. And I think that Gomez actually stepped it up defensively, which is something that I kind of or we had spoken about before. And so that was nice to see him put that pressure on the opposing defense, obviously because he's very much an attack-minded player, but also being able to get back on defense. It just worked perfectly. Busquets anchored the middle, which allowed them to be more free, him and Kremaski. That was beautiful. But overall, I think it was, I assume you guys already went over this, but it was just I thought it was going to be a much tougher game than it was.
You didn't think it was tough in the first half? I mean, they could have
No.
scored
I
two
thought
or
it was
three.
no. I thought it was. I know. I thought it was tough, but I thought it was going to be tougher in the sense I thought it was going to be closer. I guess is probably
Yeah.
a better words. I thought it was going to be a closer game right at the beginning of the game. Obviously, like to your point, Alejandro, that could. I mean, they could have scored 2-3 on us. They were so imprecise.
Yeah.
They just could not convert goal opportunities. So that definitely helped us. And then I think that Miami, I mean, the defense looked like Swiss cheese in the first half. Like there were so many holes in that defense. It was nuts. And I thought that it was really awesome that when they went into that second half, the fact that they were able to make some adjustments and make that defense a whole lot better. But the game was, I mean, it was a tough game, but when we were talking about what the score might be, I think that we thought it was going to be a lot closer game. But man, Farias.
Yeah, let's talk about it because Ashley said she didn't know, but I know you know what happened there. I mean,
How the hell did that goal go in?
This is the first time I see this, like a sliding kick towards the second post, and just
that was beautiful. I thought it was
know.
amazing. Yeah, I thought that was amazing. That what he just did there, because that's so. I mean, somebody else might have tried to stop the ball there and then maybe look for the center it. Somebody else. I thought maybe the play was over for a second, but the fact that Farias was, I guess, that's like very, very like killer 9 instincts to just do whatever you can to get that ball in, which was so interesting because it wasn't even like a sliding kick. It was a slide to get to the ball, and right as the slide finishes, he puts the effort before the kick. So I don't know how did you guys react to that? Because I saw it and I was just like, I was watching it with my cousin, with my wife, and we all just looked at each other like, did that just happen? Like,
Yeah.
it was unexpected, wasn't it?
I said the same thing. I said no way. But I did, that I think is part of the difference. And this is not a knock on any other sort of like, region of the world or players or anything like that. But there's something about really strong South American talent, like the Argentina, like just having that. The game is more beautiful. The game is just like those little instincts of brilliance, of the feeling you have, right? Like you see it in some players. I'm sure that in Mbappe or Holland's, like not to be, obviously thinking super big, but like those kind of players, Harry Kane, they'll make those plays. But just I think it's the heart of that kind of like South American talent and the love of wanting to score and be creative and make things happen. It makes a big difference. And I'm seeing a lot of comments. I agree. I think that Gomez had a phenomenal game. Phenomenal game.
Yeah, Gomez played amazing. I mean, it's something that we knew that Gomez, Prince Harry was about
Prince Harry, yeah. Royalty on the field and off the field, some would say, right?
Is he a prince still? I don't know.
I think it's
I don't know. I still think
Prince.
once a prince, always a prince. Like if you said to me, "Is not to change the subject," but if you're like, "Is Prince Harry a royal member?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think he's still."
This
royal.
just turned into like news here,
Yeah.
bro.
Kind of my dream, right? This is like my perfect balance.
But yeah, no.
Like speaking of Selena Gomez's reaction, oh my gosh, it just shows, like, God, the excitement that Messi has brought to United States for soccer. Thank you, Rochelle. I don't know what was specifically, but yeah, I agree. I was right. No, it's with the excitement, the energy in the stadium. I mean, obviously the home team didn't want the result, but you felt it, right? Like you could see that this is a game, and Inter Miami showed out, right? They showed you that they are a team that could literally, they can compete with anyone.
Hey, that run by Farias, like that, I don't know if you guys noticed, like he was much faster on that one run where I forgot how it, obviously it wasn't a goal. I forgot how it ended.
He hit it wide, but
he hit it. Yeah, he toe blowed it.
It was being closed out. Yeah,
he toe blowed it, but he toe blowed it to like the goalie's post. I think that if he would have toe blowed it to the right, there would have been a bigger.
He scored that first goal and he missed this. This one was easier to score.
Yeah, but the way that he like the speed on him, that was insane. And and my cousin Danny brought this to my attention when we were watching. He said, like, when you see these types of players take these defenders at that speed, it's usually that they push the ball ahead and then they run to catch up with the ball. No, Farias had the ball on his foot the entire time. He literally dribbled that ball faster past the defenders. That was
flying.
When I saw that, I was like, holy cow, this guy's got some speed on him, man.
I mean, the U22s, really, they did it every, Tata Martinez said, okay, all of my 3 U22s, you are starting, you are playing, you are showing your worth. I think once again, Aviles had a fantastic game. A couple of times, he got a little bit beat, but he recovered great. He is fit right into being one of the center backs and playing with a lot of composure. Gomez, phenomenal. Farias, phenomenal. Kromashki, phenomenal. I mean, Busquets, phenomenal. You saw him running in the second half. He tracked 90 yards to go and cross that ball. That it didn't end up being a goal, but in the 43rd minute, he literally went 90 yards. And then Jordi Alba, fantastic goal. I know probably some people are, of course, disappointed that Messi didn't score, but Messi got 2 assists and did. And I'm sure he's tired. Like, he's tired. You know what I mean? He's had a long couple of weeks. He has a long travel to Argentina, etc. But he did everything you could want him to do, right? He did exactly what we needed, and we win.
Look at Austin. Austin's watching. Austin, you should be here. Here's the thing about Austin. Last week, he's like, no, we're not making the playoffs. Not today. He thinks we're making the playoffs. All right, Austin, make up your mind.
I know if
So-
Austin's not the one being negative, what is this podcast built on?
yeah, right. Yeah, I guess.
I think that we are like the homers, and then he's the one that brings like that
The reality
objective,
check.
the
Reality check.
reality check, and keeps us grounded. We're just like, man, we're going all the way, you know. But
I know. I'm
but
like, MLS treble.
trouble for real. No, but it's awesome because I want to point something out because sometimes we really enjoy you guys when you come in and comment on our YouTube videos and we read all of them. And so I just want to continue to encourage you guys to do that. But so some of the things that I've read, and I think that some people that watch us think that we have put an expectation on the team that they have to make the playoffs. And I want to be clear. We are so happy with the team. They've met their goal already, which was to earn a spot in the CONCACAF Champions. They won the Leagues Cup. They've again going to the final of the US Open Cup. And as a fan, especially having a podcast around the team that's our home team, if Inter Miami is mathematically still able to make it to the playoffs, holy cow, that's what we want. I mean, we are happy with them regardless of if they make it or not. But what a time to be alive. This is so exciting. We're winning. We're accumulating points. Playoff push very much alive. And then to win,
playing well.
Yeah, and everybody's
Don't
playing great. Yeah,
everyone's really stepping up. Like, it's not one player only. You're seeing all 11. I mean, yeah, Drake Callender deserves to get a cap in one of the 2 upcoming friendlies. I really hope he does.
So I'm gonna be Austin here. I don't think they play great, to be honest with you. I mean,
really?
It was a tough match. LAFC should have been winning by 2 goals in the first half. They didn't. They were losing for some reason, and that's. I mean, sports are like that. Sometimes you play a great game and you just don't score, and the other team's goalie just saves 3 or 4, and that's what happened with Inter Miami today. Calendar saved a couple, and we scored in half of the chances that we had. And this game ended up being 3-1, but if it was 3-3, it would have been okay to me in my perception of the entire game, especially in the first half. The second half, I think Inter Miami was better than LAFC, and they found a way, especially if you look at it. Inter Miami was really struggling to get the ball out in the first minutes. Like they couldn't get control of the game, and we know every time another team speeds us up, we are in trouble. We saw it with Nashville. We saw it with Dallas. Every time the other team gets to play at that speed and going back and forth, we're going to struggle. And that's one of the things that this team still has to work on. I'm not saying they play terrible. I just say they can play even better right now. And the thing is, the result is always going to be on your mind, right? Because last week they didn't play as bad as we thought. They just tied the game. That's what's it. I mean, and right. Sometimes the result changes the way you see stuff. But I don't know. It was an important win. It's just I don't think, like we've been talking about, that Inter Miami just went and just destroyed LAFC. That's not what I think.
So if Alejandro, if you're Austin, I'm gonna be myself, who usually argues with Austin. And you'll be Austin. But as is usual, Austin and I agree on a lot, but we also will argue certain points. So I'll be myself and you're Austin this way.
Okay.
But so I think I say that I disagree with you because I think that they played well overall. I think it's also a match or a tale of 2 halves. I say the first half, Inter Miami did not play well. I'll be honest. First half, they did not play well. I think we got lucky. Well, not lucky, but that 1-0 lead going into that second half was maybe not the way that the game was flowing. Like it was flowing more towards LA side. But I will say in soccer, it's not about who has the most opportunities. It's about who finishes them. And it's about being efficient. And Miami was efficient in that first half on the offensive end. They didn't have as many opportunities as LAFC, but they finished and they did their job in that first half. LAFC was a disaster on offense. They were generating the opportunities, but man, like you know how like when you play pool and you need to put
you can get it in,
you have to put a little Yeah, the chalk. Like they needed to put that because they were kicking everywhere except the goal.
Well,
So that
22 shots, 22
yeah,
shots total for
But how
LAFC.
yeah,
many on target?
Only 6. I was talking about it in the beginning. Only
yeah.
6 of
Yeah.
them, and Inter
So
had 6, but they scored 3.
yeah,
But
So
you
so they
know,
were
and
more efficient.
yeah,
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 wow, way more efficient.
that's also part of it. Like, that's also part of the defense and the goalkeeper.
Mhm.
That's play where, yeah, like it seems, LAFC was so offensively minded and obviously getting all these opportunities in the final third, but not that most of them weren't good opportunities, right? It's not like, I mean, Drake made a handful of fantastic saves, but a
Mhm.
lot of them either was above or on either side of the goal, or they were right into his hands, so they weren't great opportunities in the end because either the center backs were able to encroach or Drake made himself big where it couldn't happen. I saw a couple comments about set pieces, and yeah, Inter Miami is not good with set pieces right now. They're doing zonal marking. I don't really know why. I think maybe, I don't know if it's a communication or if it's just what Tata Martino think is the best. Set pieces have been something that has plagued Inter Miami since day one of this franchise. And so I think it's a work in progress. I think, this team has only been in construction for 6-7 weeks. I don't know, maybe 8 at this point. I don't even think 8 yet, since July 21st, right? So you can't fix everything at once. That's asking a lot. And I mean, the crisp passes and the high line, the formation, the clinical finishing, all of these things that have happened have been so amazing that, like, we can't do everything at once. I wish we could. I wish we can change everything at once. I'm not saying that I want us to keep getting, conceding off of set pieces, but it's a work in progress.
Yeah, and you're winning 3-0, so it's not like you're on your A game at that
A
point in the
game,
game.
right?
I mean, it's the last minutes of the game. You know already won. We need to chill out a little bit on that. I
yeah,
mean,
and
I would be more worried on the first half chances that they were
Right.
to me more like I was worried. I mean, this guy, if Bulanga is on a good night, he scored 2 or 3 goals tonight, and he just wasn't. And we're glad he wasn't
yeah,
because
and
they had the chances, they had the space, they had everything that they needed. It just they weren't clinical like Gian was talking about.
yeah, and I think the defense actually adjusted very well in the second half because if you notice in the first half, they were, I mean, the amount of balls that were being put, whether it was in the air or through balls that the forwards were getting in behind the center backs was incredible. Like, and the just also the pace that LAFC would push as soon as they would recuperate the ball, bing, 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 2, 3 passes, and they were already with a scoring chance. So I think that Inter Miami adjusted very well and paid attention more to their marking and making sure that they weren't getting beat from in behind, and that totally changed in my opinion in the second half. We didn't see so much of that like we saw in the first half.
All right, guys, let's do a little break here, and then in the second half, we're gonna talk about Messi's assist and what we saw that we liked about this system from Martino tonight. We're talking about Leo Campana or Joseph. Who should start? No, it was Facu Farias. So what do they do now? Especially since Messi is going on international break, we're gonna go over all of that here on the Five Reasons live post game show. Messi and Co. We'll continue here after this quick break.
If you are ready to transform your backyard into a haven of relaxation and luxury, look no further than our amazing podcast sponsor, L'Acqua Azzurra Pool Services. With over 20 years of industry experience, L'Acqua Azzurra is a name you can trust when it comes to services, equipment repairs, and restoration for all things pools. If you're looking in the South Florida area for your pool to be serviced on a month-to-month basis, L'Acqua Azzurra boasts an impressive 5-star rating on Google reviews, and it's a testament to their dedication to the customer satisfaction and top-notch service. Also, if you mention Messi & Co., you will get your first month of pool service absolutely free. So don't wait. For pool service, patio renovation, or more, call them now at 954-793-7206 and get a free quote for any project. Thanks, L'Acqua Azzurra.
Thank you, Austin. You're here somehow. All right, so we continue with our live post game show. Inter Miami won 3-1 at LA. So this playoff run still continues in the MLS tournament. we talked about Messi, right? And he didn't score today. He had that chance where Gomez gave him a great pass. We all were sure, I'm sure you guys were too, that he was going to score from there. I mean, how many times? It's like if you know those leagues that have like a percentage. Okay, this play has so much
Yeah.
percentage of being a goal. I'm like, okay, this is a goal from Messi. This is like easier than a PK, and somehow the goalie saved it. And going towards the second half, he started with a beautiful assist to Jordi Alba after a great pass by Busquets, finding him between lines. And what a pass, man! I mean, Gian, you follow Barca for years, and Ashley, you follow soccer too. How many times we've seen Messi to Alba pass, but this was just beautiful. And Alba ran running to the space, and then the way it finished, it was a perfect pass, the perfect goal to give Inter Miami a 2-goal advantage. So let's go a little bit over that. Gian, what did you see in that play?
Obviously, a beautiful pass by Messi, but that run, like you were saying, into space was incredible by Alba. Not to mention him getting the ball, and once he got the ball, the ability to stay calm and wait for the perfect moment to take the shot,
Mm-hmm.
waiting to see what space the goalie would give him, because he waited until the last moment and just
Yeah.
placed it perfectly. He could have tried to cross it to the opposite bar of the goalie, and I don't know if that might have been tough, especially because I felt like he had the angle covered well. But just the fact that he actually put it on the goalie's post,
Mm-hmm.
it was just a beautiful goal from pass to finish. And then that's just something we've seen for such a long time, especially as Barca fans and those that have followed Europe, La Liga, seeing those typical Messi Alba combos. And I mean, I think this is the first time we've seen so far, and I know it's a short sample size, but I think it's the first time we've seen that type of connection with Alba, because it's usually where Alba gets the pass more towards the wing, and then he
Yeah.
puts the ball back in for Messi. So this was another connection, another type of connection we hadn't seen between those two. So it was actually a really pretty goal.
Ashley?
Yeah, I agree. I think this was the Jordi Alba's best game so far in Inter Miami jersey. Offensively and defensively, he was everywhere. Yeah, the Busquets to Messi to Jordi Alba is something that is beautiful to see time and time again. It was a beautiful goal. I think also Campana, I know we're going to go to that subject next. It was a perfect finish by him. It was clinical. It was everything that you want your number 9 to do. But it didn't seem like Inter Miami needed the number 9 in the beginning. So what do we think about that?
Well, we're gonna go over that subject, but before we go, you talked about this the second assist for Lionel Messi. It was a tough play because 15 years ago Messi goes with that ball and he finishes, but now he's not as fast, so he had to stop, and then he looked at Campana and gave him the perfect pass. Jan, I bet you were jumping all over your
Oh
house, right? With that
yeah.
goal.
Oh yeah. Man. And I was actually wondering the entire time too. I'm like, okay, so Farias is looking gassed. I was like wondering, is it Campana? Is it Joseph that's coming in?
Yeah.
And it was interesting to see Campana actually get the opportunity. But I thought that was amazing, because leading up to that goal, Campana looked a little lost. I felt like he wasn't sure what to do. He had an opportunity before that one where he was so focused on getting the ball to
Yeah.
Messi,
To Messi, yeah.
because he cut, like, he had the defender, he cuts in, and then he's got the defender bites on the cut, and the defender actually puts his back to Campana. Campana could have cut right back in, and that defender would have had a hard time catching up to him, in my opinion. But he didn't take that opportunity because he saw Messi, and ultimately I think it was the wrong decision. So then seeing this goal, and Messi obviously being unselfish as he is, because I'm sure Messi would have found a way to get that shot off.
Yeah.
And Messi was able to give that ball to Campana on a silver platter, and Campana finished it beautifully, curled it into the far post of the goalie. And I'm going to say that, like, that's not easy sometimes, especially the ones that are like served to you on a silver platter. Those are the scariest. At least for me. I know I'm not a professional player,
Well,
but
ask LAFC.
yeah, exactly. But when I play soccer and I'm by myself and I know a pass is coming to me, man, I'll be the first to admit I've shot that thing to, man, the other side of the field. So when I appreciate him, I guess the finesse that it takes to keep that ball low and be able to place it beautifully. But it was just a nice goal overall for Campana, and players like Campana and Joseph that sometimes go on these runs where they struggle a little bit, or maybe they're not getting enough playing time. It's nice for players like them to it helps their confidence. So I'm hoping this helps Campana and his confidence, and hopefully Joseph as well will get his opportunities, and I think they will.
Yeah, and let's talk about it, because you were discussing and we've been discussing like who should play along with Messi in the attacking, right? And it's been Joseph, it's been Campana in some points, and depending on the type of game, and now we see that Facu Farias is also another option that Tata Martino has. But what do you think, Ashley? Who should be starting along with? I mean, we're not gonna have Messi because of the international break, and we're gonna talk about it in a little bit, but in a perfect scenario when Bessie's back and everybody's available, what do you think should be the first option for Tata Martino?
Well, I think it really is dependent on your opponent. I think
Mhm.
that, with LAFC, which is a juggernaut, and they're going to score and move forward, they wanted to go with the back five and have that defensive block. So in situations like that, when it's a back five, I definitely think having just Facundo and Messi is the right decision. Um, I think Campana has been doing more in terms of being with his hold up play and that kind of, especially on counter attacks, the clinical finishing. He's been stepping up to the plate, and I mean, obviously he didn't get the call up to the national team,
Yeah.
and so he has a chance for this game next Saturday to continue to put his stamp on, right? So I think the opportunity is his if he can make the most of it.
What do you think, Gian?
I think that it was quite interesting to see Farias up there by himself with Messi. I know that we had talked about it previously on other pods about how Tata Martino had said in certain not post game conferences, but just media sessions where they had asked him about Farias, and he said, "Look, depending on what the game plan is, and in certain schemes, I can have Farias up as a center forward potentially, or playing forward up there with Messi." So in this case, and to Ashley's point, on with this game plan for this specific game, I guess that was what Tata thought was best, and I think it worked very well to have him up there. It was different than having him play on the wing. I think that he got a lot more opportunities to show off his speed playing in the middle. So taking that into consideration, how you saw how well Farias played in that position, I don't know what you do now with. I'm not saying that they're not going to see playing time, but I'm wondering if maybe, I don't know, like, is it interchangeable? Is it Campana, like Campana and Farias, or Joseph and Farias, because they're two different players. So I just think, I mean, I don't think I'm saying.
Now you have three different players.
Yeah,
there.
You've got three that can play that position. So I just think that it's all going to go to Ashley, because you made a great point. It's all going to be what you need for that game. And it's good to have three interchangeable players. I know they're not necessarily at the level of speed-wise and agility-wise as Farias, but it's good to have players on the offensive end that you can just plug and play, really.
Yeah, and we didn't use Taylor tonight, so that's another option that you have there. And we'll see. I mean, Tata is trying to work on a new system. It's different from what we saw in the Leagues Cup. That was more like, all right, let's go to a regular 4-3-3, and then let's go from there. Now we're playing with five in the back, and they're working on a different idea. So we'll see what Tata Martino starts deciding on that. So for those asking, Argentina is playing Ecuador, and I know Gian is very excited about this game on Thursday. That's at 8 p.m. We should do a post game that day, Gian.
That'd be
Argentina
fun.
I'm off on that day. Sorry.
It's playing Ecuador, and then Inter Miami plays on Saturday against Sporting KC. So we're not gonna have Messi playing there, and then Argentina goes up to Bolivia to play the next game. I think it's on Tuesday after that. Let me see. Yeah, Tuesday, September 12th at 4 p.m. So we're not gonna have Messi for a little bit, and we have a game on Saturday. So what do you think is gonna happen now? Who should be starting against Sporting KC? What's the formation there? Do they go with the five on the back, or
I need a team sheet. I need to see who's going to be available.
Well,
yeah, but we're gonna have more players available than we originally thought. I
yeah,
think, which is
Arroyo
good.
and Campana are not traveling to play with
Yeah.
Ecuador, so
They will
that's
definitely be playing.
for Inter Miami. That's good news. I don't know about Kremaski though. He's
Nah,
probably out with USA, right?
yeah, Crema's out with USA. I think up front, because let's see who's available from Campana is gonna be here. Joseph got called, right?
Yeah.
Joseph, yeah,
So
he's playing.
Venezuela,
Yeah,
and then Taylor got called as well, I
hmm
believe.
yeah, I
So
think so too.
basically, I don't know. I mean, you got Robbie
Well,
Robinson,
Facu Farias is gonna start then.
yeah, Farias. So you've got Farias, Campana, and then in the middle you've got Busquets, Arroyo. Maybe you see John Mota if he's available to play, and then in the back, who do
Gomez
you?
got called by Paraguay.
Gomez, I believe, got called, yeah, by Paraguay. So
Mhm.
Gomez is not going to be there. And then in the back, who do we have available? We've got Alba, who retired from the Spanish league or
Yeah.
the Spanish men's national team. So he's gonna play. Did Yedlin get called up? I
No.
don't
Nah, I don't
no.
think so.
Okay,
No.
so we've got Yedlin. Then who are our center backs? We have Aviles. I don't think he got called.
No.
And and
I
then
don't think Canada has something. Does Canada have something? I don't know why I feel like Kamal Miller is not going
Let me
anywhere.
see.
I may be wrong about that. Christoph is going to Ukraine. Well, he was called to go to Ukraine. So
Christoph did get called.
yeah.
He got called. Yeah.
Okay, so then maybe
I
Miller
can see a
if
4-3-3 where it's, but I mean, then I guess you don't really have a sub because you're gonna have Campana, Farias, and then I was gonna say Robinson, but you need to, I think, be able to substitute one of them. So maybe not. I don't know. I really, yeah. I mean, I can see it being the same lineup, like a similar lineup as today,
Yeah.
but a couple obviously of the.
And
what
remember, we'll have a more clear picture of it next Friday in our pregame show anyway. But we just wanted
Yeah.
to go over who's not gonna be here,
Yeah.
and that gives you an idea of the team that Inter Miami can put.
I
The
think we're
Tata Martino can use that.
yeah. I think the point is that at least we know that we're going to field a much more competitive team than we thought, because we were
Right.
thinking like who the heck is going to play when we were thinking about all these names. So at least I think we do have a good chance against Sporting KC.
Yeah. And then what's the game after that? Let me check real quick. It's Sporting KC on
Atlanta, I
Saturday
think.
at 7:30, and then it's on. Let me check. Atlanta on Saturday. So I mean, yeah, they could be available on Saturday. It's a push, especially for Messi going to Bolivia. That's a tough
Yeah.
place to play on Tuesday and then play again on Saturday. But I
And
mean,
turf.
yeah, and turf combined with that because they have to go to Atlanta and play in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So he could do it. We'll see if they try to force it there. I mean, he's probably gonna play. He's just probably not gonna start that game on Saturday, the 16th against Atlanta United. We'll see what happens. It could also depend on if Inter can win against Sporting KC or not. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of time before that. But before we go, guys, and thank you to all of you that are sending your messages. We are reading all of them, and thank you very much, Eric, Herman, Felipe, Sid, David, all of you, Elizabeth, all of you that have been sending your messages. Thank you very much. We are reading all of them. Let's go ahead and check the standings right now because a lot of people were asking, okay, so what happens now? Let me put it here a little bit bigger. Inter Miami got to 25 points, only 4 behind New York, 5 behind the other New York team, New York City, Charlotte, Chicago. Those are the teams that are in front of Inter Miami. Remember, Inter has 2 more games to play than those guys. Here you're seeing this column. 2 less games that Red Bull, 3 less games that New York. The same happens with Charlotte, Chicago. So, I mean, there's still a chance to make it to the playoffs. DC, that line right there is for the wild card game. So we could look at Montreal and DC. And if you look at it, I mean, there's still a chance. So
8
like I
points
said,
behind and 2 games
yeah.
less, like you said, Alejandro.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's a marathon. You have
Yeah.
to keep winning, and if you keep winning, you're probably gonna end up very, very close, if not inside playoff spots. So that's what we're hoping for, and I think they can make it. It's just we have to be patient and Austin, don't change your mind after every game.
It's a war of attrition, right? It's not just about who's for each game. It's about one, who's available, and 2, what game plan is Tata Martino going to have? What formation? I mean, so far, he was 100% right with the formation today. He's been right with a lot of the formations in the past. Obviously, Nashville has been a very tough competitor for us. But yeah, I mean, with the run of fixtures ahead, there's definitely a chance for us to really get close and to put the pressure on the opponents, right, to try and stop us from getting that playoff spot. So as good of a result as we could have gotten tonight, obviously we did. And the Messi effect, I mean, you saw it when you saw that sheet from the LAFC PR office, all the celebrities there. I mean, unbelievable, just unbelievable. And it wasn't even Messi's best game. Like, I mean, but it's amazing. Just the whole team is just totally riding the high of greatness, and it's awesome.
Was this the best team on paper that Inter has? What do you guys think?
Like the starting lineup?
Yeah, like is this the best starting lineup that we have? I mean,
Yeah, I guess.
on paper, it certainly seemed like it. We've had all your
Yeah.
U22
Well,
signings.
Taylor had a great start with Messi when Messi got
Yeah.
here. He just, I mean, it's been winding down, but
Yeah,
I think Taylor could be a good
Yeah, I could
starter.
see a
Not in
world.
this system though. In this system,
Yeah.
I don't know where to put Taylor because
I don't know. Farias can play from the middle. I mean, you saw
Yeah.
he was kind of a 9 for some of the game, and especially the counter. I mean, I can see a situation where you add Taylor and you take away maybe a Christoph, right? And then it's a 4-3-3. Like, I can see a world where
Yeah.
that happens. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see, right? And maybe it's going to be things that it's not the first half, but maybe that they come on in the second half, right? In the last 40 minutes, you play those kind of formations to try and, like, seal games and put things away.
Yeah, I agree. And that's a good thing of having more options because when Tata got here, he looked to the bench and he was like, all right, I don't know what to do now. So now he has so many options that he can like play around with it. You saw Ulloa going in at the end of the game too. That's going to be
He had a
another
good play.
option.
Did you see? He had a nice little
Yeah,
fancy
yeah.
footwork.
So I mean, the more options you have, the more systems you can play, and depending on the rival that you guys were talking about, they can change the way they play and the formation and the strategy, and that's all good. And besides that, you have Messi, so that's also going to change a lot of games.
That's right.
Going forward. So thank you very much, guys. We're gonna keep it short tonight because it's very late here in the East Coast where we are. It's 10. We're about what 10 minutes to be
To 1,
1 a.m. and these guys work tomorrow at 6 a.m. They're gonna have to be at the office, and we're not gonna keep you guys up so late. So thank you very much, Ashley. Thank you very much, John, for being here. Thank you very much to all of you that joined us in this post-game show. We're gonna continue doing even though Messi's not gonna be playing on Saturday. We're still gonna do a pre-game show. We're still gonna do a post-game show. And we might do an Argentina post-game show depending on the result and how Gian is feeling that night. It's the start of the South American qualifiers. I'm from Venezuela, so I want Gian's team, Ecuador, to lose against Messi. We'll see what happens. We play Colombia that day, so we have to play at Barranquilla. Is not
my wife is Colombian. That's not fair. I can't root. Oh man. But yeah,
Yes.
that's gonna be tough. Some tough games all around. It's exciting. I miss eliminatorias. Like
those games are that tournament is one of the toughest tournaments. And well, we might do something also following Messi because this is Messi and Co. So we're gonna continue creating more and more content for you guys. So thank you very much. We're gonna say goodbye with our friends from Insurance by Linet, but this is in Spanish, so I'm not gonna play. Just gonna say Insurance by Linet. If you need anything related to insurance, go to our friend Lynette. He's a friend of 5 Reasons. You can see her on every Miami Heat post game commenting, like all of you guys are right now. If you need somebody who can deal with insurance here in South Florida, go ahead and contact her. There you have the phone numbers 954 581 8800. Contact her on behalf of Messi and Co. and she'll give you a discount right there. So thank you very much, guys. Have a good night, and we will see you sometime soon. Bye bye. Have a good one.
Adios.
bye.